I made a bad decision. For some reason, I thought it would be a fun time to take on every single one of the Black Ops 2 Zombies launch maps and set a new best round on them. That means Transit, Bus Depot, Town, Farm, and Nuketown, which are all the hardest maps on this game. And despite popular belief, I'm kind of okay at zombies, so there's no cheap out round 14s in this video. And there's no better place to get started than with Nuketown, where somehow I got god tier luck right away and got Juggernog on round 7 as my first perk that became available. For anyone who doesn't remember, Nuketown had perks that spawn in every 5 rounds or so, which means sometimes Juggernog won't spawn in until the 20s. I also got the ray gun pretty quickly, which is the second best gun in the entire map, so we're already off to an absolute banging start. Once we got some more points, I bought a few more perks and pack punched my M1911. I actually kept it for most of the game because on insta-kills there is nothing better to take out zombies as quickly as they spawn. But on round 40 I sadly took my first down by just not handling the zombie spawns well and trapping myself in a corner. Then I took my third down on round 43 because I was just being impatient and needed to spin the mystery box for another ray gun since I was completely out of ammo. About 25 minutes later, I finally got my ray gun, and this game just kinda seemed chalk, to be honest. Nuketown's a hard map to play with no quick revives, plus me not playing well, so round 50 would be a stretch here. Luckily for me though, I'm an absolute demon on the sticks, and if it wasn't for me just making a tiny little mistake on round 57, I'm confident that 60 was within my grasp. Now it's farm time, and like the Chad that I am, the mystery box handed over the ray gun on the very first spin. By the way, I started most of these maps on round 20 because nothing much of note really happens before then, and that's just kind of boring. Oh, and something else that you will see throughout this game is that I will be hugging this wall of the barn after killing a horde of zombies or when I'm starting a round, and this is because when standing against this specific wall, zombies will only spawn in the windows in front of me or inside of the barn and come through the door in front of us. It's immensely helpful to make sure I don't do the oopsie doopsie fucksy wuxies, but then on round 34 I kind of broke my own rules and forgot some of the zombies would spawn behind me, but oh well, I got my perks back in about 30 seconds because duh, it's farm and I got back on track. For about 5 minutes or so, because then I kind of blew myself up with the ray gun. That's kind of a yikes, but look man, it's been a long time since I played farm, give me a little bit of slack here. I'm no connoisseur of maps that have green filters on them. My third down was on round 40, again by me being the dum-dum, and I lasted until round 44 where I needed to swap guns and I got gangbanged after jumping from the balcony. All good, time for transit. So this game was a little interesting. I chose to play without using the bank because then it would have just been a little bit too easy for my liking. With that said, I bullied Ted a little bit, as you do, grabbed the hammer from the mystery box and went to turn on the power. Forgot how long this animation takes, like seriously, it's about 45 seconds until you can finally leave this room. It's just excessive. I grabbed some Juggy Nugs and headed back to the mystery box where our old friend the ray gun came out to play once again. Don't know if you guys are seeing a pattern here, but I kinda am. Then I set off to open up the pack punch room because honestly, like even though my crawler died out when I got to town, it was actually open and I was just so relieved because that would have taken another 5 minutes at least for me to try this again. While I was down there, I upgraded both my M1911 and the ray gun as usual and set off to run through some rounds from here on out. So for the next dozen or so rounds, I stayed put at the diner area, which is my favorite area of transit, but after some bad spawns on round 27, and I kind of just didn't want to restart. So I kept on playing and I went to an actual good spot, or at least after I finally finished off this round, because this was at the very beginning of round 27 and I had my butt cheeks clenched for the rest of the round. But yeah, no more fucking around. It's time to return to the barn, only sort of. You actually keep this area closed off because the loop right here with lots of quick spawns in a flat, unobstructed area is perfect for high rounds, and this is actually where world record high rounders play their games out. I'm personally just not a fan because it looks like someone really enjoyed the color green and forgot that the rest of us actually have eyeballs. Oh well, anyway, so on round 36, I downed again in a slightly embarrassing way and then redeemed myself by not taking another down until round 49. Admittedly though, once I did take this down, I was pretty scared because I spent like 3 hours on this game and didn't want to restart because of my own mistakes this close to round 50. And even though the round was not over yet and a zombie could spawn in front of me any second, I just needed to make a run for the Juggernaut machine. So I took the shortcut, played safe by waiting on the zombies to catch up when I was in the town, and finally got myself some protection in its usual small size. There was also an insanely lucky clutch, which I'm not sure how I survived still, but you know what, I'm gonna take it. But even though we have Juggernaut, we are still not safe yet because I have no ammo in either of my guns anymore. That means it's time for mystery box roulette in various dangerous areas, which could end my game in an instant. So because of that, I rather quickly got the Galil and just decided to settle on it for a little while. Even though it's not typically good at this stage in the game, I was just desperate, so I took it back to the farm, and after spending most of its ammo, a zombie luckily dropped me an insta-kill. A few seconds later, another zombie dropped a hugely clutch max ammo. Unfortunately for me, the Mustang and Sally was left behind to create this W, but sometimes sacrifices need to be made. Like that one time I used a sock to wipe my ass, but finally at long last, round 50 on transit without the jet gun, and we're not done just yet. After running out of ammo in my guns yet again, I needed to spin the box. Thankfully it happened right at the end of the round, which meant no full hordes to worry about this time, and I could whittle it down to one dickhead who just wouldn't leave me alone. Good thing for that too, because it took about 45 fucking minutes to get the ray gun back. I hate it here so much. Transit is so good on co-op with friends, but it is almost insufferably stupid on solo. I still really want to see it get a full remaster eventually though. Anyway, only a few minutes after getting this ray gun, I was really settling in for a much longer game, and I thought, I've got my groove back, but I kinda messed up and I downed for the last time. Fuck this map, Bus Depot's next. We move from one brutal map to the next, but at least we keep our insane mystery box luck with another first spin ray gun. Seriously, I've been playing zombies religiously for about 12 years now, and I have never had this kind of crazy luck through multiple games. Unfortunately here, it happened on a map where there is no perks, no pack punch, and no bitches. 2 hits and your entire game is over, and I don't actually know the high round strategy here. So I kind of had to wing this whole thing by just rolling up my sleeves, snorting a line of gamer fuel, and getting going. So the first few rounds, they went rather smoothly actually, and for my first few attempts I realized that buying the MP5 from the wall was a great way to optimize my insta-kills using a lightweight weapon. Starting on round 26 is where I began to have some troubles with the rising spawn rates. Where there would be a gap to run through a few rounds earlier, that one is now closed, and I kinda need to keep doing cutbacks or would have to shoot a zombie or two in front of me to make a path. Bus Depot just really makes me uncomfortable, which I guess was the intention here, but damn, I've already got some anxiety issues as it is. But fast forwarding a bit to round 29, I was almost done with the round, but I just took the wrong route and got slapped by one too many zombies and fucking kill me. But lastly, we have Town, and this is the best of the bunch. This map is where I stake my claim as a decent zombies player. It's one of my favorite maps of all time because it's so simple but has a high skill ceiling in my opinion. Anyway, so I began this game as most of the others and chose to just use my Mustang and Sally until the end of round 29 for the sake of speeding up the game a little bit. Once I inevitably got my first of many ray guns, it was off to the races. With dog rounds enabled because fuck it, why not? But something else I should explain as the rounds pass in the background is why I'm training in this area and why the bank is actually closed. So this is just the best and safest training area on the entire map, combined with good spawn rates, and the bank is closed because opening it ruins every area on the map. Under no circumstances in a high round game should this bank ever be opened. It is the Black Ops 2 equivalent of the other door on the Kino der Toten stage. Anyway, so on round 46, it was finally time to swap my guns around a little bit, and because I'm a picky little bitch, I wanted the ray gun Mark II instead of the original because I had the time and there was only 1 zombies left, so fuck it. After 20 minutes I got it, and oh hey, round 50, no time to talk about you because there's a lot more rounds to talk about. By the way, you don't pack punch either of the ray guns right away because they're both great unupgraded and it can actually be used on high rounds effectively. Upgrading them just is absolutely unnecessary and it leads to more mystery box spinning. Town is basically all about trying to spin the mystery box as few times as possible because that shit is just slow. Speaking of that, I finally had to upgrade my Mark II on round 52, which is a shame, but it does happen eventually. After that though, I got a lot of lucky max ammos right when I was running low and I didn't need to to swap it out until the end of round 58. By the way, face reveal, yeah, I know, because this is a bit of footage from my Twitch stream. If you ever looked at my social medias, you know what I look like, but I guess I've never really done it on YouTube much. Anyway, let's fucking go around 60, but the job's not actually done yet. Pretty much every round from here on out, I will be needing to trade out my ray gun at least once per round. The way I do this is by bringing the zombies up to the Juggernog area and hitting them all with an EMP grenade. If you then don't run, shoot, or touch them, then they will infinitely be put in a non-hostile state, which allows me to spin the mystery box freely. A surprising number of people in my streams didn't actually know this, so it's cool to teach people something after a decade of this game being out. I shouldn't really honestly be surprised, but you know, in a 3-hour stream, we only managed to finish 6 full rounds, including a dog round. That means obviously this game is drastically slowing down now. Round 68 alone took me about 90 minutes altogether, but 70 was my goal and I really wanted it this game. With that said, let's check in on how that's going. Say I have AIDS, I don't have AIDS. I think I just GG'd. Are you,